I'm still taken aback by that comment in terms of, how detrimental being involved in a lawsuit can be to the point where, somebody can die by suicide from it.
I can tell you from not my personal experience, but from people I know. And I'm convinced that I have PTSD from it. I'm convinced that I do. I've never been formally diagnosed. But, when I tell you that I start talking about it and I start shaking, that's a clue. I've come to grips with that and I've, come to terms with it, but there's no doubt that this has affected me. And besides the anger, there's feelings of self-worth. Am I a bad physician? Am I a bad person? When you get sued as a physician, it's a lot different than getting sued for being in a car accident. When you meet someone at a party, you judge them right off the bat about how old they are. One of the first questions you might ask is, are you married? Do you have kids? One of the first questions you ask is, what kind of work do you do? We identify ourselves by our professions, our work. It's part of our identity. When you get sued for a car accident, you don't identify yourself as a driver. It doesn't hit your core identity. Getting sued as a physician does. Your sense of self-worth, your sense of self. That's hard to overcome, and it takes a lot of conscious thought and realization, logical thought, to overcome the emotions of, am I a bad person? Am I a bad doctor? Did I hurt somebody? Those feelings are horrible feelings, and I had all of them, in addition to the anger at being wrongfully sued.
And so how did you tease that apart? How did you separate this from your sense of self-worth?
Becoming an advocate helped a lot. Fighting for patients in other arenas, realizing that I take good care of my patients. I care about my patients. Spending 15 minutes on the phone with a peer-to-peer, fighting for a patient gives me a sense of self-worth. Seeing patients do well gives me that sense of self-worth. Talking with other people from across the country in advocacy made me realize, hey, I'm not alone. And fighting for patients has helped to restore that.
It sounds like you lost your sense of self-worth in the midst of these lawsuits, and now through all these other activities, you're regaining it.
Well, I've regained it. Not I'm regaining it now. I've regained it. But the other thing I left out is the counseling. I had to go through counseling on 2 separate occasions that to help me with that. I mean, that was probably the major thing. That was the most important thing in terms of helping me restore an even keel to my career and so forth. And I highly recommend counseling is taboo. You've been through counseling, and there are some reasons that it's taboo. Hospitals may discriminate against physicians who, if they admit to having gotten counseling, you're viewed as maybe lesser. What's wrong with you? You needed counseling. No, counseling is a sign of strength. It's a sign that you recognize a problem and you seek to fix it. The same way you would fix it by seeing an endocrinologist if you had diabetes, or seeing a rheumatologist if you had joint pain. You wouldn't be charged with, well, you should tough it out. You should just deal with the joint pain. Getting help for it is a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. That's how I view it. Not everybody views it that way, but that's a message that I want to get across, is get the help you need, restore yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is true. It's a sign of strength.
For us, by us, and just for us, this is Hope for Med.